Good evening, people. The next topic that we are starting with is system of kinship in India. This is how the syllabus looks like. Okay. Now, if you will do the analysis of the previous year questions, you will understand from this topic, all they are asking is conceptual question, that is, what is lineage? What is descent? What do you mean by alliance? Etc. Standard question. Explain or define with examples what is lineage, what is descent, what is alliance. So, us topic pe more or less we have to focus on this aspect. As far as types of kinship in India is concerned, either they are talking about regional variations with respect to kinship system, and in this the most important perspective that we have and we have to talk about is Iravati Karave. So either they are asking you different kinship system, how it is regionally varying from each other, or they will ask you comparison. Comparison, most common question is North India kinship system versus South India kinship system. Very often you are going to get this question. They can combine the two parts. For example, define what is lineage and descent, or define what is descent and alliance, full stop, and give a comparison or contrasting picture, or how North Indian kinship system to what extent is different from South Indian kinship system, and it will be a 20 marker. So this is how they have been asking questions in the past. Big deal. That is just the defining part that they are asking. Then with respect to household dimension, there are standard two questions. One is define household, or let us say explain. So basically you should know what is this household dimension. And second, how this is different from family. So in short, you may be asked, compare and contrast family vis-a-vis household. These are the standard things that they are asking from this topic. The maximum question that you are getting it from here. We will be combining patriarchy with even the portions of section C. So this topic I will discuss in detail because it is entirely about women issues. And every year, in fact, if I'm not wrong, 2023, same paper, 3 questions on women. Different issues. Violence against women, honor killing, women's participation in the labor market. They can ask you any and everything. This is the most important section, and if you nail this section, it will help you in your essay also, GS paper 1 also, GS paper 2 also, ethics also. So this becomes the most, इसीलिए मैं यहाँ लिख नहीं रही, because this is one thing, even if I do the analysis, I cannot exactly predict, because every year the question will change. But we will give you enough content that you can answer any question which will be asked. Now, with respect to family and marriage, their focus actually is on change. Mostly they are interested in asking the questions with respect to change. You have to study everything, but then the focus would be to what extent the structural changes have occurred. For example, in 1 year they asked that write a short note on structural changes in the traditional family system of Indian society. So they can ask you this, ठीक है? Or they might ask you linking marriage पे question आ जाए, who are LGBTQ community? And what are the issues with respect to marital relations of LGBTQ community? So they are combining marriage plus LGBTQ community because it was in news also. तो यहां पर करंट अफेयर्स आता है, बट द फोकस हैज टू बी कॉन्सेप्चुअली ऑन मैरिज एंड फैमिली, क्योंकि अगर वो तैयार नहीं होगा तो करंट अफेयर बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस के आंसर नहीं हो पाएंगे. इज दैट वेरी क्लियर? हम क्या करेंगे, we'll combine these two topics. We'll combine these two topics and this will be done separately. So today's agenda is family. Is it clear? Okay, this is how we are going to proceed. But are you getting the complete picture? What kind of questions have been asked? How you are supposed to prepare? This is how it is done. और ये सिर्फ क्लास कर रहे हो इसलिए नहीं बोल रहे, ये आपको खुद को भी करना चाहिए, जीएस बेस्ड में भी. सिलेबस उठाओ, क्वेश्चंस देखो, फ्लो चार्ट बनाओ, प्रिपरेशन करो, तो पता फिर पढ़ाई उतनी ज्यादा है नहीं जितनी लग रही है. क्योंकि ऐसे देखते हैं ना तो समझ नहीं आता कितना पढ़ें और क्या छोड़ें. पर जब आपको पता है हर साल वो हाउस होल्ड पे सवाल पूछ रहे हैं और यहां पर सिर्फ एक ही तरीके का सवाल बन रहा है, वो तैयार करके चले जाओ. अगर तो वही आ गया इट्स गुड इनफ, और अगर कुछ नया आया इट विल बी न्यू फॉर एवरीवन. बिग डील. इज दैट क्लियर? सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. This is how we are going to cover the topic of family. Family as an institution, the background, then why family in first place is referred as an institution. What is family? A general definition by G.P. Murdoch. What are various scholarly perspectives? Let us say Talcott Parson, Engels, or any radical feminist. Then different types of family based on marriage, residence, ancestry, and composition. In composition, we'll talk about conjugal family, nuclear family, extended family, and joint family. And from joint family, we'll take down the topic. So what is the background? Why is it that we are discussing? Because it is considered as a building block. What are various scholarly views with respect to significance of joint family in Indian society? What is a joint family? What are the features of traditional Indian joint family? What constitutes jointness in the family? This is important because here we are actually emphasizing upon the difference between nuclear family and joint family. Then variability and prevalence of joint family. How joint family is not the same. It varies. And also not everywhere joint family in Indian society is prevalent. It depends upon certain factors. Then analytical aspect, what are the advantages and disadvantages of joint family? Life cycle of the joint family, disintegration and reintegration. And finally, changes in the joint family, structure, functions, and interpersonal relation. When we are talking about reintegration, we'll introduce the concept of household. Is this very clear? Okay. So let's continue. Has everyone written this? Now, the only difference between society and sociology with respect to this topic would be that here we are mentioning the scholarly perspective and slightly it is in detail. There we are only focusing on those aspects जिस पे outrightly question आ सकता है. यहाँ पे वो हम slightly detail में जाते हैं just because that in case the theoretical question comes, you have something to write. ठीक है? So to begin with, family as an institution. See, it simply says, what is an institution? I did ask this question before also. What is an institution? Which has some functions. That means it is serving some purpose for the society. Okay. So I'm generally asking, irrespective which family, I'm generally asking, is the family serving some purpose for you? Hai na? Just tell me what purpose? Socialization. So can I say it shapes your value system? Not only your value system, since you have mentioned socialization, it is also shaping your life choices and aspirations. Anything else? Huh? Exactly. It is providing you the financial support or kuch emotional support. Anything else? It provides you the social status. So can I say all these factors makes family an institution? So why family is an institution? Because it is serving some purpose. And what are those purposes? For example, you've given the points. For example, it provides you financial support, it provides you emotional support, it provides you the social status in the society. And not only social status, it is actually acting as your in-group. The group from where you trace your identity. For many of us, there exists a shared sense of identity that we derive from our own families. Is it making sense? And this is very specific in context of joint family, where there is a very strong sense of shared identities. जैसे example देके बताती हूँ, चोपड़ाज of बरेली. अगर कोई बोलता है, अरे हम चोपड़ाज हैं बरेली के, क्योंकि वहां पर क्या हो गया कि you have a big set of family and people know, अरे ये तो चोपड़ा साहब के बच्चे हैं, ये तो उसका कजिन है, ये तो उसके नेफ्यू हैं, ये उसके नीस हैं. So are you understanding? You are drawing a shared sense of identity from your family name. So it is actually providing or is responsible for your status in the society. All these factors together makes family as an institution. So now the question arises, keep writing, I'm not dictating anything. What is a family? Now give me the definition according to G.P. Murdoch. G.P. Murdoch, family is defined as social group characterized by common residence, economic cooperation, and reproduction. It is said, family consists of adults of both the sexes, at least two of them are in socially approved sexual union, and one or more children of own or adopted by sexually cohabiting adults. You get a question on family, no need to write such a elaborated definition. We could have just done with social group, which is characterized by common residence, economic cooperation, and reproduction. That's by G.P. Murdoch. It is also said, family consists of, अब ये तो खुद ही समझ आ जाएगी definition. It consists of adult of both the sexes. At least two of them would be in socially approved sexual union. That means there has to be a marital alliance. Okay? And one or more children, either of their own or they are adopted by whom? Sexually cohabiting adults. So this is how family is being defined. Okay? Now, if we talk about this, you have already done. There is a functionalist perspective. For example, Talcott Parson, who says the purpose of the family is primary socialization and adult personality stabilization. Similarly, we have Marxist perspective. For example, who says the purpose is to manage private property and pass it on to other generations. Similarly, there exists feminist perspective, especially radical feminist, according to which family is a patriarchal structure which exerts control over women. So in simple words, we have yet not started family in India. I'm just giving, because this you've already done in paper 1. I just need the flow. So what is a family? How there exist different perspectives with respect to the role of family in context of society. However, from here we'll begin the topic. On the basis of marriage, monogamy, polygamy, and sologamy. With respect to monogamy, straight monogamy, serial monogamy. See, we just need to understand this much. For those who have not done the GS part, monogamy basically means that you have one spouse. So in simple words, monogamy means one spouse. That means one husband and one wife. Straight monogamy means one spouse all your life. For example, traditional Indian society. However, serial monogamy means one spouse at a time. And the reason is increased rate of divorces, separation, remarriage, etc. ठीक है, ये तो सिंपल हो गया, ये तो सबको पता है. अब इसको सोशियोलॉजिकल बनाना है. 2-3 पर्सपेक्टिव दे रही हूं और अब देखेंगे उसे आगे हम कितनी बार यूज करेंगे. क्या इसमें ये बोल सकते हैं कि डिवोर्सेस आर इंक्रीजिंग बिकॉज नाउ इट हैज बिकम एक्सेप्टेबल बाय द सोसाइटी? इतना कह सकते हैं? क्या यहां पे आई मे एड द पर्सपेक्टिव यू माइट हैव स्टडीड पेपर 1 में. Nikki Hart. Nikki Hart has said that with the change in the value system, divorces have now become more acceptable, which otherwise was a stigmatic issue. तो अगर divorce acceptable है, तो it may happen that you have one spouse at a time, but that does not mean that you will have the same spouse all your life. So Nikki Hart's perspective, divorces are now more acceptable. ये अब जब भी आपको लिखना होगा, that let us suppose question आ जाए, critically analyze the factors responsible for breakdown of marriage as an institution. एक point, divorces have now become more acceptable due to changes in the value system, bracket में Nikki Hart. Why single parent households are emerging? बिकॉज डिवोर्सेज हैव बिकम मोर एक्सेप्टेबल, ब्रैकेट में निक्की हार्ट। तो अब जब भी ये पॉइंट यूज करना होगा किसी भी XYZ क्वेश्चन पे, you will use the perspective of Nikki Hart. Similarly, sorry, there is another perspective इसे मैं कई बार यूज करूंगी। एलिजाबेथ बेक जर्नशाइम, वाइफ ऑफ उल्रिक बेक। उल्रिक बेक को मैं कई बार यूज करूंगी, कॉन्सेप्ट एक ही पढ़ाऊंगी पर उसको हम बार बार यूज करेंगे, ठीक है। इनकी थ्योरी है पोस्ट मॉडर्निस्ट है ये, पोस्ट मॉडर्निस्ट हैं तो द फोकस इज ऑन इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन, दैट यू डोंट फॉलो अ रिटन स्क्रिप्ट, you carve individual path for your own self. So you are not going to be in a relationship based on traditions, customs, norms, or social pressure. You will be in the relationship only till the time there is emotional fulfillment. Because what matters for you is your own self. There is individualization thesis. Is it making sense? क्या ये यहाँ लगा सकते हैं? Divorce, separation, remarriages. Now people are remarrying in the very later stages. आजकल एक नया concept आ रहा है, grey divorce. Old people are getting divorced after 25 years of marriage, 30 years of marriage. Sudden realization of liberation that our individual identity has been lost in the relationship. No, on a very serious note. So there is a concept of grey divorce which is emerging. Can I quote Elizabeth Beck Jonsheim here? Individualization thesis, why grey divorces are on the rise. लिखो, याद ही नहीं आएगा कब लिखना है. For example, you can quote in grey divorce. लिख लो इसे, अलग से स्टार बना के लिखना. According to this perspective, individual make more personal choices about jobs, marriage, religion, and lifestyle. Full stop. Earlier life was decided by tradition, caste, or family. Full stop. Now individual create their own path. Now just hold. Divorces increase हो रहे हैं, we can quote, ठीक है, let us say, what if people are choosing not to get married? No longer marriage is a universal institution. Again, we can quote this. There are emergent forms of family. For example, dink family, double income, no kid. Can we call this? There are delayed marriages. Many people are not getting married, but still women are going for children, either say through surrogacy or let us say through IVF. Again, they are making personal choices. तो वो जो एक रेडीमेड स्क्रिप्ट होती थी ना कि इंजीनियर बनेंगे, फिर जॉब करेंगे, फिर 25 तक शादी करेंगे, 30 से पहले एक बच्चा करेंगे और 35 से पहले पूरा लाइफ सेट. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? अब 35 तक शादी नहीं हो रही क्योंकि 32 तक तो यूपीएससी के अटेम्प्ट है. सो द पॉइंट हियर, और उसके बाद फिर मुश्किल होता है थोड़ा. सो द पॉइंट विच आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, डिड यू गेट? कि where all you can use it. Again I'll reiterate, when you revise, मैं जितने भी टेम्पलेट्स दूंगी उसको A4 साइज शीट पे अलग से कर लेना. जो भी, जैसे हमने पिछली क्लास में टेम्पलेट्स दिए थे, पॉल ब्रास की एथनिक मोबिलाइजेशन थ्योरी वगैरह थी, जैसे आज हमने एलिजाबेथ बेक जर्नशाइन का पर्सपेक्टिव दिया, इंडिविजुअलाइजेशन थीसिस. थीसिस समझ आई, कहां कहां इसे यूज कर सकते हैं ये समझ आया, ठीक है ना. अब इसका अलग से टेम्पलेट बनाना, और जब बनाओगे तो कैसे बनाओगे, व्हाट इज द थ्योरी, हु गेव द थ्योरी, एंड इन कॉन्टेम्पररी टाइम्स वेयर ऑल यू कैन यूज इट. अब कोई भी क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा फिर आप इसे यूज कर लोगे. दैट इज मॉरल डीजेनरेशन. तो इसको यहां नहीं, इसको मत लिखो. हस्बैंड ने एक बात बोल रही है, उल्रिक बेक की रिस्क सोसाइटी, कि आज मैन मेड रिस्क क्रिएट हो गए, इतना मॉरल डीजेनरेशन हो गया है दैट यू आर चीटिंग इन द रिलेशनशिप. वहां यूज करना बेटर लगेगा. लिखने को तो लिख ही सकते हो, जस्टिफाई तो कर दोगे, सब्जेक्टिव है, बट वो लिखना ज्यादा बेटर लगेगा. रिस्क क्रिएट हुआ है ना, और रिस्क इसलिए क्रिएट हुआ, फियर खत्म हो गया है. फियर क्यों खत्म हुआ, दो चीजों का फियर होता था, एक रिलीजन का होता था, दूसरा लॉ का होता था. रिलीजन के केस में क्या हुआ, लोग सेक्युलराइज्ड हो गए, और लॉ के केस में लॉ ही हटा दिया अडल्ट्री पे. एंड फियर इज मदर ऑफ मोरालिटी. तो जब फियर ही नहीं रहा तो मोरालिटी नहीं रही. इसलिए इज दिस वेरी क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन, कैन वी प्रोसीड. ठीक है, यहां तक लिख लिया सबने. ठीक, सिमिलरली पॉलीगैमी, you have polygyny, you have polyandry. Polygyny is one husband, multiple wives. You will find in Islamic culture. And polyandry, you have one wife and you have multiple husbands. एक वेरिएशन ऐड कर सकते हैं. If wives are sisters, then it is known as sororal polygyny. And if husbands are brothers, then it is referred as fraternal polyandry. Clear है? So fraternal polyandry, brothers, ठीक है, महाभारत. And if it is non-fraternal polyandry, where husbands are not the brothers, you will find it in among Todas, Nayars, etc. Clear? And then we have sologamy. Act of self-love, individualism, self-acceptance, by marrying one own self in public ceremony. I'll answer all the question. First, it is symbolic. If it is symbolic, no legal credibility. Usually done by women, but no gender constraint. If we need a sociological explanation, simply expression of individualism, assertion of autonomy, and challenge to traditional notion of marriage. So it is acting as one of the threat to the traditional institution of marriage, because women are marrying their own self. Because if you go by feminist perspective, family is a patriarchal structure where men exercises their control over women. So it is seen as a sign of liberation. It is seen as an act of self-love, individualism, self-acceptance. However, it is only symbolic in nature, mostly done by women, because patriarchy is one ideology which cuts across various countries. Irrespective of the country, patriarchy is one thing which is common to all. And that is the reason why sologamy is slowly and gradually getting more popular. Is it making sense for everyone? On the basis, ये लिख लिया था ना सबने? On the basis of residence. It can be patrilocal. According to M. N. Srinivas, its most commonly found or common trait of traditional Hindu joint family. Wife goes to husband's house after marriage. Second is matrilocal, which, as the name suggests, husband goes to wife's place. According to Iravati Karve, it's commonly found in matrilineal societies. And finally, it's neo-local, where due to globalization, there exist diverse job opportunities. Hence, husband and wife moves to new residence. According to G.P. Murdoch, this exists in urban, modern industrial societies. So the only thing that you have to focus is that in sociology, whatever you write, try to give a scholarly support. Otherwise, the argument loses the credibility. But then you don't need to worry that how many names we have to remember. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा. जहाँ 2-3 बार पढ़ोगे, you will actually find certain commonalities. कि इन थिंकर ने फैमिली पर भी बोला है तो इसी एरियाज में बोला है, आपको अपने आप याद आने लग जाएगा। इज इट वेरी क्लियर? जैसे कि मैं आपको छोटी सी बात बताती हूँ, इरावती कार्वे को हम क्यों मेंशन कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि इरावती कार्वे ने किनशिप सिस्टम में के बारे में बात करी है। किनशिप सिस्टम में आप बताते हो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ मैरिटल रिलेशंस एग्जिस्ट, दैट पर्सन हैज मेड द नोटिंग हाउ इन मैट्रिलिनियल सोसाइटी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अरेंजमेंट हैपेंस आफ्टर मैरिज, तो इट इज इजी टू कनेक्ट एंड इट इज इजी टू रिमेंबर, सो दैट इज हाउ यू कैन राइट द पॉइंट्स। इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? ठीक है, नेक्स्ट इट इज अकॉर्डिंग टू एंसेस्ट्री। इट्स सिंपल, इस पे थोड़ा सा मैं एलैबोरेट करूंगी जब मैं फर्स्ट 2 टॉपिक्स आपको पढ़ाऊंगी। पहला टॉपिक है ना लीनिएज एंड डिसेंट और टाइप्स ऑफ किनशिप, वहां पे मैं इसको एलैबोरेट कर दूंगी। अभी के लिए बस इतना याद रखो, पैट्रीलिनियल एंड मैट्रीलिनियल। दिस एग्जिस्ट, लेट अस से गारो, खासी, etc. Patrilineal, it is common in Indian society. We trace the lineage from father's side, and here we trace the lineage from mother's side. Any further elaboration, sometimes it is bilineal also, where both the sides are given recognition. Okay, all those variations I'll discuss when I'm discussing lineage and descent with you. Till here it is clear. Okay. I'm making a diagram kind of a thing. First understand and then write. The first beginning point is our conjugal family. Conjugal family, you only have husband and you only have a wife. Talcott Parsons says it is ideal form of family for industrial society. From conjugal family, now we have a nuclear family. अपने आप समझ आता चला जाएगा, एक बार देख लो बस. Here we have husband, wife plus unmarried children. इसमें कोई डाउट है कि न्यूक्लियर फैमिली क्या है? Husband, wife and unmarried children. It is observed by Radcliffe Brown that it is universal institution, as it is result of urbanization, industrialization, emergence of individualism. However, if I further extend my nuclear family to, let us say, incorporate grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, then it will be referred as extended family, and this interpretation has been given by Bell and Vogel. यहां तक समझ आया? अभी रुक जाओ, यहां तक समझ आ रहा है? And so extended family clear हुआ? Extended family, nuclear family, when is elaborated and incorporates the people who are associated by either descent, or let us say they are associated by marriage, or let us say they are related by adoption. So it is an extended family, because I'm nowhere saying that these people are living together. I'm just saying that nuclear family, when is extending its ambit to incorporate others who are related to you by descent, marriage, or adoption, it constitutes extended family. But in this, if I add common residence, if I add common kitchen, and if I add common property, then it will be known as joint family, and the concept was given by Henry Maine. Now hold. Can I say every joint family is the extended family, but not all extended families are joint family? Clear हुआ diagram? Husband, wife, double income, no kid. जहां बेल एंड वॉजल लिखोगे ना, वहां पे एक लाइन छोड़ देना. मैं डेफिनेशन लिखवा दूंगी बेल एंड वॉजल ने क्या कहा है. Write down the definition. VOGEL. Can we proceed? So this gives us our first topic, joint family. It is said there are three building blocks of Indian society. You have caste system, you have village community, and you have joint family. There are various scholarly views with respect to joint family. To begin with, K.M. Panikkar says joint family is the backbone of Hindu society. According to Iravati Karve, joint family is central with respect to transmission of culture, property, and social roles. According to Andre Bete, even modernization could not lead to breakdown of joint family. At max, there is some restructuring within the joint framework. According to M.N. Srinivas, through Sanskritization, presence of joint family exists across caste groups. It is just to establish the significance of joint family. We have yet not started what is joint family. We are just saying joint family is very important aspect of traditional Indian society, even today also. It is a very important component of our society. In fact, today much cinema is also based, हम बोलते हैं ना family drama है. Surat Barjatiya movies. That's nothing but reasserting the significance of family in the society. So that is how it works. K.M. Panikkar says that joint family is the backbone of Hindu society. Iravati Karve says, no matter what you talk about joint family, you can never discount the role of joint family in the matters of transmission of culture, property, and social roles. Even today, family plays a very important role with respect to socialization regarding values, beliefs, culture, etc. Andre Bete also said, no matter how much force of modernization has ushered in context of Indian society, complete breakdown of joint family has not taken place. At max, what has happened is restructuring, but within the joint framework. M.N. Srinivas says that joint family is not a characteristic feature of only the upper caste people in the society. Through the process of Sanskritization, it has been emulated by other caste people also, because for them, joint family is a symbol or is a means of social and upward mobility. Is it making sense for everyone? So now the question arises, what is joint family? Multiple definitions, we'll restrict to two definitions only. It is defined as a social group consisting of people united by ties of blood, marriage, adoption, and contains 3 or more generations. ये जो point है 3 or more generation, this is specifically mentioned by I.P. Desai and T.N. Madan. First line तो mostly same रहेगी ना. What is a family? Social group consisting of people who are united by ties of blood, marriage and adoption. ये तो nuclear family की भी definition हो सकती है. But when I add a line to it, 3 or more generation, then it is very specific to joint family. And who has talked about the generational component of the joint family? I.P. Desai and T.N. Madan. Is this clear? However, there's one more popular definition, that is by Iravati Karve. It says, family is defined as a group of people having common residence, common kitchen, common property, common worship, and those people are related by kinship. That's the definition given by Iravati Karve. रेसिडेंस कॉमन होना चाहिए, कॉमन किचन होना चाहिए, कॉमन प्रॉपर्टी होनी चाहिए, कॉमन वर्शिप सेंटिमेंट्स होने चाहिए, एंड दे शुड बी रिलेटेड बाय किनशिप. Why? Ties of blood, marriage or adoption. So they should be related by kinship. That's the definition given by Iravati Karve. Clear है? ठीक? ये definition याद रख लेना. अगर जॉइंट फैमिली पे क्वेश्चन आएगा तो वी, और फैमिली पे आए स्पेसिफिकली जॉइंट फैमिली, यू स्टार्ट विद द डेफिनेशन ऑफ इरावती कार्वे. ठीक. बिफोर वी प्रोसीड, वी शुड नो व्हाट आर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर्स ऑफ अ जॉइंट फैमिली. First and foremost, a typical Indian joint family is patrilineal, it's patrilocal, it's patriarchal. Power is wielded by oldest male member. Common residence. Common kitchen बार बार नहीं लिखेंगे. We'll use the word commensality. And common property use नहीं करेंगे. कोपर सेनरी. कोपार सेनरशिप का मतलब होता है जॉइंट ओनरशिप ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी. अब आप पूरा लिखो जॉइंट ओनरशिप ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी, उससे बेटर नहीं है एक वर्ड लिख लो कोपार सेनरशिप, लीगल टर्म भी है. सिमिलरली कॉमन किचन, इंटर डाइनिंग, उसकी जगह एक वर्ड लिख लो कॉमन सैलिटी. ठीक, अब याद रखना क्योंकि हर बार अब मैं यही यूज करूंगी, कॉमन सैलिटी एंड कोपार सेनरशिप. एज एंड सेक्स आर द मेन ordering principle of family hierarchy. Filial and fraternal relations. Filial मतलब father son and fraternal मतलब sibling. So filial and fraternal relations are more important than conjugal relation. Conjugal is husband, wife. There exists gendered division of labor and shared parenthood. फैमिलीज, जॉइंट फैमिलीज में जो बच्चे होते हैं वो किसी एक के नहीं होते, दे आर द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ एवरीवन इन द फैमिली. शेयर्ड पेरेंटहुड होता है. बहुत सारी फैमिलीज में आपने कल्चर देखा होगा कि ताऊ जी, ताई जी, चाचा चाची नहीं बोल के बड़े पापा, बड़ी मम्मी, बिकॉज दैट इज द बॉन्ड दैट इज बीइंग शेयर्ड इन द जॉइंट फैमिली. देयर एग्जिस्ट अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ शेयर्ड पेरेंटहुड. ठीक है, ऑल ऑफ दिस हैज बीन मेंशन्ड बाय MS Gore. In fact, MS Gore has highlighted these points and said that these are the features which also tells us that joint family is not merely the sum of nuclear families. कुछ देख के लग रहा है? What is the difference between joint and nuclear family? Anyone? Decisions are taken by mutually in the nuclear family. ठीक है, I'll take this point. एक difference ये हो गया. और नहीं होता है gender division of labor. It is a joint conjugal role rather than segregated conjugal role. I'll take this point also. और कुछ? हाँ, exactly. Nuclear families में hierarchy नहीं होती है, egalitarian relation exist करता है. और वो जरूरी नहीं है, वो जरूरी नहीं है. We can't say this. किसमें? अच्छा, सोशल इंश्योरेंस वाली बात है. लेकिन यार न्यूक्लियर फैमिली में तो फैमिली तो अपनी ही है, उसका तो करेंगे ही. अब बच्चा नहीं कमा रहा तो उसका करेंगे थोड़ी ना, मतलब बच्चा तो अपना ही है. न्यूक्लियर फैमिली में तो होगा ही. इनफैक्ट पता है पेरेंट चाइल्ड रिलेशंस न्यूक्लियर फैमिली में ज्यादा स्ट्रांग होते हैं. और अगर जॉइंट फैमिली में देखो तो रिलेशन बिटवीन ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स एंड ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन इज स्ट्रांग. पेरेंट्स को तो अपने बच्चों का उतना, वो सिर्फ डिसिप्लिन करने के लिए होते हैं. इट इज द एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली विच इज एक्चुअली टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द चाइल्ड. तो उस तरह से देखा जाए तो. एनीथिंग एल्स? हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. It is in the joint family, filial fraternal roles are more important, whereas in the nuclear family, conjugal roles are more important. Is it making sense for everyone? Clear है सबको? ठीक है. तो एक क्वेश्चन लिखो, write a short note, write a short note on the difference between nuclear family and joint family. Nuclear family and joint family. Just a sec, एक second. हाँ, बन जाएगा. Can you differentiate between nuclear and joint family on these parameters? और कैसे याद रखोगे? A बस B is missing, A C D E F. B से कुछ मिल नहीं ना, बना लेना, कुछ ना कुछ तो बन जाएगा. अभी मुझे याद नहीं लग, मतलब अभी स्ट्राइक नहीं कर रहा है मुझे. अगर B से भी कोई पॉइंट बन रहा हो तो बना दो, तो A B C D E F हो जाएगा. सबसे आसान है याद रखना. और न्यूक्लियर फैमिली और जॉइंट फैमिली को कंपेयर कर दो. फाउंडेशन रिस्ट्रिक्शंस की तरह. हाँ, कर सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं. वी कैन मेक इट. लेकिन आंसर अभी भी आपको लिखना है. मैं डिक्टेट नहीं कर रही. मैंने आपको आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दे दिए हैं. आई हैव गिवन यू द डायमेंशंस. नाउ ट्राई टू राइट अ 10 मार्कर. अब तो और कुछ और पॉइंट्स भी ऐड कर सकते हो, जो मन करे, बट एक 10 मार्कर क्रिएट कर देना. क्लियर है? नेक्स्ट क्या लिख, हाँ, एम एस गोर का ही पर्सपेक्टिव लिखेंगे. राइट डाउन. अकॉर्डिंग टू एम एस गोर, joint family is not the mere collections of nuclear family. That is, so just by combining few nuclear families, you can't create a joint family. As there exist certain elements which constitutes jointness in a joint family. According to Bernard Cohen, S.C. Dubé, Pauline Colinda, आपको ये एक नाम भी याद रखोगे तो चलेगा. कॉमन रेसिडेंस, रुको रुको रुको, ऐसे नहीं लिखो. लिख दिया क्या? बर्नार्ड कोहन, एस.सी. दुबे. ये नहीं करा ना, रुक जाओ, ऐसे नहीं करो, याद नहीं रहेगा. सॉरी. इसको ऐसे नहीं लिखकर ऐसे लिखो. स्कॉलर आर्ग्यूमेंट. अब लिखते हैं According to Bernard Cohen, S.C. Dubé, and Pauline Colinda, common residence and commensality is the essential aspect of jointness. Similarly, F.G. Bailey, T.N. Madan has said, it is the coparcenership, that is, joint ownership of property, which constitutes or is responsible for jointness in the joint family. अब ऐसे याद रखने में आसानी हो जाएगी. Similarly, according to I.P. Desai, it is cooperation and sentiments of jointness which contributes to functional joint family. For example, emotional bonds, physical, financial obligation, celebration of ceremonies, festivals, and shared sense of identity. For example, WhatsApp family group. क्लियर हो रहा है? आंसर भी ऐसे ही बना सकते हो. अगर क्वेश्चन आ जाए तो एक और पॉइंट है. M.N. Srinivas. Ritual bonds. Within ritual bonds, for example, observing pollution rituals during birth and death, propitiation of dead ancestors, श्राद्ध सेरेमनी जिसे कहते हैं, या फिर वर्शिप कॉमन डीटी. These are the examples of ritual bonds. which contributes to jointness. जिन्होंने लिख लिया है वो कंटेंट फिर से देखें. और ये बताएं कि अगर कोई ये पूछ ले व्हाट आर द एलिमेंट्स विच कंट्रीब्यूट्स टू जॉइंटनेस, तो क्या पॉइंट्स होंगे? नहीं नहीं, वो ठीक है, टेबल बना लेना. पॉइंट्स क्या है? कॉमन रेसिडेंस, कॉमन किचन, कॉमन प्रॉपर्टी, कोपर्सेनरशिप, देन कोऑपरेशन एंड सेंटिमेंट्स ऑफ जॉइंटनेस एंड रिचुअल बॉन्ड. पॉइंट 5 है, बाकी एग्जाम्पल्स थे. इज दैट वेरी क्लियर? कोई ऐसी चीज जो नहीं समझ आई हो? फिर सपोज करो फैमिली में देयर इज समवन हु इज नॉट कीपिंग वेल. You're leaving your job and everything and coming and helping, so that is the jointness element in a family. ठीक. हाँ. क्या चीज? filial and filial is the relationship between father and son, and fraternal मतलब relationship between siblings. That is the. ये joint family में father son का relation is more important than the relationship between the son and his wife. That is the key difference between a nuclear family and a joint family. Because joint family का हमने characteristic feature लिखा था, age and sex are the main ordering principle. दूसरा हमने feature लिखा था patrilineality and patriarchy. So it is the power is in the hand of the oldest male patriarch, and after that if the power is getting distributed, you will keep note of the age. So if you're an older person you will have more status, and second, if you are a male you will have a better status. So it is always believed that the relationship between father son or between brothers would any day be more important than the relationship between the wives, because the day the relationship with the wives improves, the structure of joint family no longer remains. That is the time when the disintegration of joint family starts. Milton Singer कह रही है. Milton Singer says the more and more women is getting empowered, she would be aware about her rights and entitlements, she will assert her rights, and one of the characteristic feature of a joint family is patriarchy. That is why. Is it very clear? हाँ. श्राद्ध, कहीं पे भी रह रहे हो श्राद्ध कर आ जाता है. मैम डिफरेंस ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ डिसेंट. अरे हाँ ठीक है, मैंने हमने मैट्रीलिनियल पैट्रीलिनियल डिसेंट करा है ना शवि, ठीक है. तो जॉइंट फैमिलीज में क्या हुआ, मोस्टली पैट्रीलिनियल डिसेंट होता है, और जिन जिन एरियाज में मैट्रीलिनियल सोसाइटीज है वहां मैट्रीलिनियल डिसेंट होता है. पर जब आप एक बार न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज में आ जाते हो ना, तो फिर आपके लिए द रिलेटिव्स फ्रॉम बोथ द साइड्स इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं. कभी ऑब्जर्व करना, तो वहां पे यूजुअली क्या होता है, बाइलिनियल होने लगता है. That the relationships or the significance of the kin group from both the sides, whether the husband or the wife, becomes equally important. ऑब्जर्व, घर घर की कहानी है सोसाइटी, कभी ऑब्जर्व करना कि न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज में दोनों किन ग्रुप की इंपॉर्टेंस बढ़ जाती है, वेयर एज इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ जॉइंट फैमिली इट इज यूजुअली यूनिलीनियल, आइदर पैट्रीलिनियल और मैट्रीलिनियल. यहां तक क्लियर है सबको? आगे बढ़े. ठीक. आई थिंक नेक्स्ट टॉपिक वाज फ्लो चार्ट में बताना एक बार क्या था. वेरिएबिलिटी एंड प्रेवलेंस. Variability and prevalence of joint family. First, I'm dealing with variability. It says variability depends upon three things. One is culturally, I'll explain, culturally patterned time of breakup, second, demographic profile and third, education, migration and occupational diversification. I'm just talking about variability right now. I'll explain. Variability says that it is not necessary that you would find similar joint families everywhere. It may happen that joint family is a salient feature of Indian society. There are many places that you are finding the joint families, but it may not be of the same form. It may also happen that in some of the areas you don't find only joint family. There exist variations with respect to joint family. One of the reason for variation is culturally patterned time of breakup. For example, in some communities of Andhra, it is said that till the time the siblings are not married, they stay together. Once all the siblings are married, they voluntarily choose to separate. तो एक कल्चरली पैटर्न टाइम ऑफ ब्रेकअप आ गया कि एक बार सब बच्चों की घर में शादी हो जाए, उसके बाद सबको खुशी खुशी अलग कर देंगे. जैसे इरावती कार्वे का एक ऑब्जर्वेशन था दैट अमंग द महाराष्ट्रियन ब्राह्मण्स दे प्रेफर दिस अर्ली ब्रेकअप इन द फैमिली. Why? So that there is complete clarity about the property division and the peace in the family is also maintained. कि देखो एक ना एक दिन तो अलग होना ही है, झगड़ा झंझट करके अलग हो, पता ना हो किसको कितनी प्रॉपर्टी मिली है. तो इरावती कार्वे का ऑब्जर्वेशन था when she conducted her study that among Maharashtrian Brahmins this was very common. वहीं on the other side, for example, Rajput families, the patrilineal Rajput communities, they prefer longer association. As in the joint family should persist over a longer period of time. तो कभी कभी the breakup or disintegration in the joint family is also dependent on the culture of that community. Is it making sense? सबको क्लियर है ये? ठीक. दूसरा होता है डेमोग्राफिक प्रोफाइल. जैसे कि एक मिनिमम कंडीशन जॉइंट फैमिली की क्या थी? आईपी देसाई ने क्या कहा था? आईपी देसाई एंड टीएन मदान शुरू में जब मैंने डेफिनेशन लिखवाई थी, 3 जनरेशन. ठीक है, तो हमारी मन में बना देते हैं कि 3 और मोर जनरेशन. तो क्या मैं कह सकती हूं कि ये बात डिपेंड करेगी कि परिवार में एवरेज लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी कितनी है. दूसरी ये इस बात पे डिपेंड करेगी कि आपकी एज क्या थी एट द टाइम ऑफ मैरिज. तीसरा ये डिपेंड करेगा आपके कितने नंबर ऑफ चिल्ड्रन हैं. और चौथा डिपेंड करेगा एज ऑफ फादर एट द टाइम ऑफ बर्थ ऑफ चाइल्ड. तभी तो पहले की जनरेशन्स में जॉइंट फैमिली पॉसिबल भी थी. 21-22 साल की उम्र में शादी हो जाती थी, 25-26 साल तक 2-3 जो भी मतलब बच्चे हैं. एंड यू कैन, अब तो शादी ही 35-40 की उम्र में हो रही है. तो हाउ विल योर पेरेंट्स, मतलब इट वुड बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट ना कि अगर आप 40 के हो तो आपके पेरेंट्स हो सकता है 65 के हो. और वैसे ही लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी कोविड के बाद से हिली हुई है थोड़ी. सो द पॉइंट विच आई एम ट्राइंग टू से हियर इज दैट डेमोग्राफिक प्रोफाइल ऑल्सो डिटरमाइंस दैट वो जनरेशनल ओवरलैप होगा भी या नहीं. अगर एवरेज लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी परिवार में कम है, अगर आपकी एज एट द टाइम ऑफ मैरिज ही बहुत ज्यादा थी, या लेट अस से एज एट द टाइम ऑफ मैरिज ज्यादा नहीं थी बट एट द टाइम ऑफ बर्थ ऑफ द चाइल्ड इट वाज मोर. सो इन दैट केस the generational overlap would not be there. Chances of having a joint family would be less. Is that clear? And तीसरा, ये तो obvious सी बात है, if you are going for higher education, if let us say you are going for urban migration, if let us say you are going for non-agricultural occupation, ये सारे ही situation में there is very high probability of nuclearization. क्लियर है? So is the variability factor clear for everyone? That although it is a traditional salient feature of Indian society, but it does not guarantee you will find joint family everywhere. So now, itna likh liya na sabne? So now, Paulin Kolinda conducted the field study and found prevalence of joint family depends upon following factors. A, caste. B, region. And C, socio-economic condition. Paulin Kolinda had studied various households, and on the basis of that, the conclusion was that prevalence of joint family, whether joint family would be prevalent or not, it would depend upon caste, it would depend upon region, it would depend upon socio-economic condition. For example, there is very high probability of joint family in the upper caste. Upper caste mein the chances of joint family is more prominent. In fact, in this context only, there was another study which was done by Bernard Cohen. And if you remember, with respect to community in UP, Bernard Cohen has conducted a study. ये मैंने शायद पहली क्लास में आपको बताया था जब हम शायद जजमानी सिस्टम वगैरह कर रहे थे तो बर्नार्ड कोहन हैज कंडक्टेड द स्टडी ऑफ चमार्स इन सेनापुर यूपी एंड इट वाज फाउंड दैट अमंग देम द जॉइंट फैमिली इज नॉट देयर उसका पहला रीजन था लो एक्सपेक्टेंसी रेट लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी वाज लेस सो पीपल वर नॉट लिविंग अप टू द थर्ड जनरेशन दूसरा था लिखते ये डिक्टेट नहीं करूंगी पहला था लो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी दूसरा फैक्टर था या समझ लो देख लेंगे लो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी दूसरा था इकोनॉमिक कंस्ट्रेन यूजुअली क्या था हमने जॉइंट फैमिली के एक डेफिनेशन में फीचर्स में नहीं लिखा था एज एंड सेक्स आर द मेन ऑर्डरिंग प्रिंसिपल या पेट्रियार्की पावर इज विल्डेड बाय द ओल्डेस्ट मेल मेंबर इनके साथ क्या था यार प्रॉपर्टीज तो होती नहीं थी तो यहां पर आपका स्टेटस क्या है फैमिली का इस बात पर डिपेंड करता था आप इकोनॉमिकली हाउ मच यू आर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग एंड इफ द एल्डर इन द फैमिली इज नॉट कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग then they don't have that status. Did you get the point? First, life expectancy was low. Second important difference, how it is differentiating from the joint family, economic constraints, that since there was absence of property, it all depends upon the economic contribution that you are making. Third, हमने एक point किया था features में gendered division of labor in joint family. यहाँ पे sustenance was the issue. And due to poverty, the women in the family was also going outside and working. So that gender division of labor was not there. And chautha, that in order to search for the job, migration, which leads to spatial mobility and hence disintegration of joint family. So did you understood the findings of Bernard Cohen? That how joint family was not prevalent among the lower caste people and what was the reason? There were 4 reasons. 1, low life expectancy. Second, economic constraint. Third, lack of gender division of labor, and fourth was spatial mobility. तो हमने कास्ट का कर लिया ना पॉइंट. वैसे ही पॉलन कॉलिंदा ने कहा था रीजन में भी वेरी करता है. जैसे कि अगर गैंजेटिक प्लेन्स होंगे, यहां पे जॉइंट फैमिली वुड बी देयर. एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है, लार्ज ट्रैक्ट्स ऑफ लैंड है, जॉइंट फैमिली होगी, दे कैन हेल्प यू मैनेज द रिसोर्स, लैंड, प्रोवाइड द labor. So here the chances of joint family was very high. Whereas let us say central plains, जो सेंट्रल इंडिया का एरिया है. रिमेंबर जब हम ट्राइबल्स कर रहे थे, आई सेड दैट 60% ऑफ द ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन लिव इन सेंट्रल. तो सेंट्रल लैंड में क्या था, एक तो एग्रीकल्चर उतना प्रोडक्टिव नहीं था, उतनी लैंड फर्टाइल नहीं थी, मोस्टली कम्युनिटीज वर ट्राइबल, और ट्राइबल में भी दे वर फेसिंग इकोनॉमिक चैलेंजेस, सो ऑफन दे यूज टू माइग्रेट आउटसाइड इन ऑर्डर टू सर्च फॉर जॉब्स. तो चांसेस ऑफ जॉइंट फैमिली वाज वेरी लेस. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? ठीक है. एंड ऑटोमेटिकली इससे थर्ड पॉइंट आ जाता है, दैट इज सोशो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन. फैमिली को, जॉइंट फैमिली को सस्टेन करने के लिए इकोनॉमिक बेसिस इज वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड. इसलिए आप कभी भी देखना बनिया मारवाड़ी फैमिलीज में आपको जॉइंट फैमिलीज दिखेंगी. पैसा होता है तो चांसेस ऑफ सस्टेनिंग अ जॉइंट फैमिली इज वेरी हाई. इज दिस वेरी क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन? इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? और ये फिर से वही वाली बात है, मैं नहीं कह रही. एम.एन. श्रीनिवास की स्टडी है, ठीक है, देन मिल्टन सिंगर की स्टडी है, के.एम. कपाड़िया की स्टडी है, एम.एस. गौड़ ने स्टडी करा है अग्रवाल फैमिलीज को. तो इट इज फाउंड दैट दे प्रेफर जॉइंट अलायंसेस, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं बिजनेस फैमिलीज होती हैं, बिजनेस चलाने के लिए लोग चाहिए, तो वो कहते हैं कि बाहर वालों पे जिन पे आपको ट्रस्ट नहीं है उन्हें रिक्रूट करने से तो अच्छा है ना कि परिवार मिलके काम कर ले. सो दैट इज व्हाट दे बिलीव इन. ठीक है. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस फॉर एवरीवन? Next, we'll start with the analytical part. Functions and dysfunctions. Any point that you don't understand? First 2 points, Talcott parcel. One of the most important function of joint family is primary socialization and agency of social control. Although it was not said in context of joint family, but we can apply. अगर family पे apply हो रहा है तो automatically joint family पे apply होगा. ठीक है? Then joint families act as an agency of social insurance. Somebody said that everybody is taken care in the joint family. That's very true. No matter whether you are economically contributing or not, you will be taken care in a joint family setup, and that is why it is referred as agency of social insurance. One of the reason why people go or prefer joint family is financial prudence. If you have, rather than running 2-3 kitchens, it is always economically advisable to run one kitchen. So it helps you to secure economy of expenditure. खर्चे कम हो जाते हैं, financial prudence बढ़ जाता है, and that is one of the reason people prefer joint family. And most importantly, if you remain joint, one of the characteristic feature of joint family is co-partnership. That means joint ownership of property, and hence it will prevent fragmentation of assets. अब सपोज करो ये पॉइंट्स लिख रहे हो, अब इसमें समझ नहीं आ रहा थिंकर कैसे डालें, तो जो प्रिवेंट फ्रैगमेंटेशन ऑफ एसेट है उसमें हम आगे लिख सकते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू एफजी बेली वन ऑफ द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर ऑफ जॉइंट फैमिली इज कोपार्टनरशिप. दूसरा, जब हमें बताना है सिक्योर्स इकोनॉमी ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर, तो फिर हमें यहाँ पे एमएस गौड़ की स्टडी ऑफ अग्रवाल्स, दैट वन ऑफ द रीजन व्हाई दे प्रेफर अ जॉइंट फैमिली इज इट हेल्प्स यू टू मेंटेन द फाइनेंशियल प्रूडेंस. मैं आपको समझा रही हूं कि कैसे जबरदस्ती थिंकर डाले जाते हैं जो आप ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हो. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस फॉर एवरीवन? ठीक है. अच्छा, अभी हमने सोशल एंड इमोशनल सपोर्ट की बात करी, तो हम एक वो कर रहे थे ना, कोऑपरेशन एंड सेंटिमेंट्स ऑफ जॉइंटनेस. थोड़ी देर पहले व्हाट कॉन्स्टिट्यूट्स जॉइंटनेस, तो हमने आईपी देसाई का पॉइंट लिखा था जिसमें हमने कहा था इमोशनल बॉन्ड, दैट इज द. तो यहां पे हम आईपी देसाई कोट कर सकते हैं. So just add whatever you've studied, just add. ठीक है? Dysfunctions. फ्री राइडर प्रॉब्लम मतलब यू विल बी टेकन केयर इवन इफ यू आर नॉट कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग एनीथिंग. तो बहुत बार क्या होता है कि यू टेक दिस लाइक फॉर ग्रांटेड, दैट नहीं भी काम करेंगे तो क्या हुआ, फैमिली इज देयर टू प्रोवाइड फॉर मी. तो वो जो एक डिसगाइज्ड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट या फ्री राइडर प्रॉब्लम दैट एग्जिस्ट. इज दैट क्लियर? ठीक है. बिफोर वी फर्दर प्रोसीड विद द पॉइंट्स, आपने पेपर 1 में फैमिली करी है, आपने फंक्शनैलिटी ऑफ फैमिली पढ़ी है, दैट हैज बीन क्वेश्चन्ड बाय मेनी स्कॉलर्स. आपने एक नाम पढ़ा होगा, करा है हमने, है ना? आर.डी. लाइंग ने एक बुक लिखी थी पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ द फैमिली. उसमें दे हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट देयर आर 2 प्रॉब्लम्स in the family system. One is reciprocal interiorization, which challenges development of self, hence is psychologically damaging. And second, due to nexus, there exists problem of ghettoization, which creates the problem of us versus them. आपने पढ़ रखा है, मैं रिवाइज करवा देती हूँ. R.D. Laing says that every member in the family has some kind of expectation from each other. And this expectation, let us suppose we are a family. Not only you have expectation from me, I also have expectation. And constantly we are concerned with what the other person is thinking. So now this kind of expectations and thinking about other is reciprocal. So somewhere what is happening is we are interiorizing this reciprocal expectation. So I am not behaving according to my own true self. I am behaving as per the expectation of you. And similarly, you are also not behaving according to your true personality, but according to the expectations that I am having from you. So constantly this kind of interaction leads to the problem of reciprocal interiorization, where we are totally detached from our own self personality, and hence it challenges the development of the true self. So it is psychologically very damaging. इसमें आप एक और पर्सपेक्टिव डाल सकते हो सी राइट मिल्स का prostitution of personality, that over the period of time you are detached from your own self alienation हो जाता है because of reciprocal interiorization. So either you can use C. Wright Mills का prostitution of personality, और आप यहाँ पे मीड को भी अप्लाई कर सकते हो. I and me पढ़ा है, ठीक है, मैन इन द सोसाइटी एंड सोसाइटी इन मैन. यहां सोसाइटी इन मैन overpowers the man in the society. So you are not acting as per your true self, it is the expectations of the others. अब क्या हुआ, because of this ये पहला पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ सबको, कोई भूलेगा तो नहीं. So you can link it with self alienation, you can link alienation of marks, you are getting alienated from your own self. तो self alienation, दूसरा मीड का कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ आई एंड मी, एंड तीसरा जो मोस्ट एप्ट इस पे अप्लाई होता है वो है सी राइट मिल्स का prostitution of personality. Your personality becomes prostituted because you are not acting as per your own discretion, you are acting as per the expectation of others. अब क्या हुआ, हम सब में बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रेसिप्रोकल इंटीरियोराइजेशन एक नेक्सस बन गया, और इस नेक्सस के साथ क्या हुआ, हमने एक डिफेंसिव बैरियर क्रिएट कर लिया जहां हम एक दूसरे को तो प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हैं एंड एट द सेम टाइम वी आर थिंकिंग दैट वी आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड. हमारा नेक्सस बन गया, हम आपस में ही वी आर ट्राइंग टू मीट ईच अदर्स एक्सपेक्टेशन, वी आर ट्राइंग टू लिव विद ईच अदर. जहां बड़ी बड़ी फैमिलीज होती हैं वहां पे बच्चों के फ्रेंड्स नहीं होते, क्योंकि कजिन्स ही इतने होते हैं दैट यू डोंट रिक्वायर फ्रेंड्स. तो ऐसे में क्या होता है कि आपने एक आपके नेक्सस की वजह से एक डिफेंसिव बैरियर आपने क्रिएट कर लिया नोइंगली अननोइंगली विद द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड. अब क्या हुआ, अस वर्सेस देम, हमारा घेटो क्रिएट हो गया. अब ये घेटोइजेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट कहीं पे भी यूज कर सकते हो. घेटोइजेशन का बस इतना मतलब होता है, इट इज अ ज्योग्राफिकल एरिया where people who are similar to each other are residing. That is a ghetto. It can be on the basis of income, it can be on the basis of religion, it can be on the basis of caste, it can be on the basis of race, it can be on the basis of family. So us versus them leads to the creation of ghettos, जिसकी वजह से क्या होता है, जो societal integration है that kind of gets challenged. आप अपने कुकून में रहते हो, तभी तो यही एक वन ऑफ द फैक्टर है कि अगर कोई आपसे अलग है तो आपको लगता है वो गलत है, क्योंकि ऑल योर लाइफ यू हैव लेड योर लाइफ इन अ सर्टन वे. जैसे आपका कल्चर ये कहता है, तो अगर कोई आपके कल्चर के अलग कुछ कर रहा है तो आपको लगता है ये तो गलत है. हमें समझना चाहिए वी आर वेरी डाइवर्स एंड इन डाइवर्स सोसाइटीज अस वर्सेस देम इज नॉट राइट. इज दैट वेरी क्लियर? आरडी लाइन समझ आया? ठीक है, ये लिखा सबने, समझ आया ये डिसफंक्शन कैसे है? दूसरा आपने एक नाम सुना होगा, डेविड कूपर, डेथ ऑफ द फैमिली. David Cooper says, family acts as an ideological conditioning device which leads to reproduction of social labor. डेविड कूपर. जॉइंट फैमिली में हमने कहा ना, एज एंड सेक्स आर द मेन ऑर्डरिंग प्रिंसिपल. power is in the hands of the oldest male patriarch. That means in joint family setup we are always being taught to obey the elders. जैसे अगर बड़ा भाई या बहन भी है, इनफैक्ट एक तरीका बताती हूँ समझने का, जनरली से 3 चीजें वर्क करती हैं. एक तो जेनरेशन, दूसरा एज, और तीसरा, अगर जनरेशन बदल गई तब तो आपके पास वैसी कोई पावर नहीं है. सपोज करो आप सेम जनरेशन के हो, तो उसमें क्या मैटर करेगा? एज. 1 साल भी, जॉइंट फैमिली का सेटअप देखना, 1 साल भी बड़ा भाई बहन है तो वो भैया दीदी होता है. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? ठीक है. और उसमें भी भाई बहन में फर्क होता है. सो द थर्ड पॉइंट इज द सेक्स. तो जेनरेशन, एज एंड सेक्स. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? ठीक है. तो कहीं ना कहीं इन अ जॉइंट फैमिली सेटअप इट इज एक्टिंग एज एन ideological, and what it is doing are conditioning. That is, always obey and submit to the authority. यही सिखाते हैं कि बड़ों की हमेशा बात मानो, बड़ों के कभी आगे आवाज नहीं उठाओ, कभी उनको काउंटर नहीं करो. यही सीखा है. ठीक है. अगर ऐसा होगा तो what are we reproducing? ऐसा labor class which will never question the authority in the society. And this is a perfect fit for a capitalist society. कभी देखना capitalism और joint family, there exists a relation. Capitalism joint family को run करने का पैसा देता है, और जॉइंट फैमिली वो वैल्यू सिस्टम देती है जो कैपिटलिज्म में जितना भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो, यू स्टिल एक्सेप्ट द कैपिटलिस्ट कल्चर. सो देयर एग्जिस्ट अ रेसिप्रोकल रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन कैपिटलिज्म एंड परसिस्टेंस ऑफ जॉइंट फैमिली. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस फॉर एवरीवन? ठीक है. तो डेविड कूपर का पर्सपेक्टिव समझ आया? सॉरी. In the beginning we talked about Beck, Gernsheim, postmodernist. शुरू में बात करी थी ना, they have talked about individualism. They are focusing more on competition. They are focusing more on mobility. They are more focusing on modern society है. Modern society में, modern society is characterized by individualism. It is characterized by competition. It is characterized by mobility. Everyone is running after instant gratification. लेकिन joint family क्या कहती है? Collectivism, cooperation, stability. है, दोनों में मैच नहीं बैठ रहा है, तो फिर इन्होंने कहा that joint family acts as an arena of conflict and contradiction. क्लियर है? एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल, सपोज करो देयर इज अ फैमिली, जॉइंट फैमिली सेटअप है, इंडिविजुअलिज्म आ रहा है, कल्चर चेंज हो रहा है, पोस्ट मॉडर्न सोसाइटी है, पीपल आर लुकिंग फॉर फुलफिलमेंट, इमोशनल फुलफिलमेंट, और लेट अस से मोबिलिटी, और लेट अस से मोर अपॉर्चुनिटी. तो द वुमेन इन द फैमिली डिसाइडेड कि नाउ शी ऑल्सो वॉन्ट्स टू वर्क. लेकिन जॉइंट फैमिली का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर है जेंडर डिविजन ऑफ लेबर. So the value system of joint family is not in sync with the value system which is existing in the society. So there is existing problem of arena of contradictions and conflict. Is it making sense for everyone? Are the scholar perspective clear? ठीक है? फिर आपने फैमिली की फंक्शनैलिटी को चैलेंज करते वक्त पढ़ा होगा मार्गरेट बेंस्टन. According to this perspective, the problem is unpaid labor performed by women. Anyway, family is being termed as a patriarchal institution. Joint family mein there is very specific gender division of labor. Mostly women are confined to unpaid labor, which further restricts the opportunity for upward social mobility. Perspective Margaret Benston. अब suppose करो question ये सब नहीं आया, question women पे आ गया, question unpaid labor पे आ गया. हाँ, नहीं फैमिली का टॉपिक है, लेकिन फिलहाल हम तो जॉइंट फैमिली. देखो ये फैमिली की प्रॉब्लम है, बट जॉइंट फैमिली में ये एग्रीवेट हो जाएगा क्योंकि कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर है जॉइंट फैमिली का जेंडर डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर. अगर आज आप कहो कि देयर आर सर्टेन जॉइंट फैमिलीज जहां ये जेंडर डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर नहीं हो रहा, तो क्या वो जॉइंट फैमिली नहीं है? बिल्कुल जॉइंट फैमिली है, बट देयर हैज बीन अ चेंज इन द जॉइंट फैमिली. द स्टेटस ऑफ विमेन इन द फैमिली हैज इंप्रूव्ड. लेकिन जो हम इसीलिए हम फीचर्स पढ़ते हैं कि कभी कंफ्यूजन हो ना, तो ट्रेडिशनल जॉइंट फैमिली ऐसी थी, अगर आज इससे अलग लग रही है, दैट्स बिकॉज ग्लोबलाइजेशन, अर्बनाइजेशन, इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन, ऑल दैट फैक्टर. इज इट क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन? ठीक है, और कुछ लिखना है? आई थिंक हो जाएगा इससे. आर द डिसफंक्शंस क्लियर? आई थिंक वी हैव सफिशिएंट पॉइंट्स. ठीक, नेक्स्ट डालो, लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ जॉइंट फैमिली. We are going to talk about life cycle of joint family. See, there is one more perspective. जैसे there are certain scholars who believe that there is nothing separate called joint family or the nuclear family. They are not fixed. They are just the phases or the stages in the developmental cycle of the family. Every family starts with a conjugal family. It becomes a nuclear family. Over a period of time, it might become a joint family. Then let us say there is some fission, disintegration happens. Then let us say over a period of time, it becomes a nuclear family again. Then in the nuclear family again, it becomes a joint. So certain scholars says that there is no separate type of family. There are just different stages in the developmental cycle of the family. Is it making sense? ये मैं last में लिखवा दूंगी. So the first point is why disintegration of joint family. The most common factor is migration. अब आप इसको कैसे लिखते हो ये आपकी choice है. The most common reason behind nuclearization or disintegration of joint family is migration. And migration, the most prominent reason are the push and the pull factor. This is globalization, industrialization, urbanization, or commercialization of agriculture, or let us say good quality life, better infrastructure with respect to health, education, skill development. There can be multiple factors which leads to migration. And on the other factor, there are certain reasons which pushes you to migrate to other region. For example, agriculture is in distress, lack of alternative employment opportunity, और ये सबसे important factor है. Differential access to resources based on caste, religion, and gender. That is one of the major reasons why people prefer to migrate outside from their own region, because they don't have proper access to resource and opportunities. Is it making sense for everyone? Other than migration, another important factor is westernization. Because of westernization, there is change in lifestyle patterns. There is emergence of live-in relationship or cohabitation. There is emergence of individualism. So westernization can also be an important factor responsible for disintegration of joint family. Not only westernization, modern value system, where, let us say, people starts questioning regressive practices such as caste endogamy or patriarchy. That also would lead to breakdown. क्योंकि जॉइंट फैमिली में रिचुअल्स बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग होते हैं. आपको याद होगा मैंने कहा व्हाट कॉन्स्टिट्यूट्स जॉइंटनेस, तो उसमें हमने एक पॉइंट लिखा था रिचुअल बॉन्ड्स. दैट पोल्यूशन रिचुअल्स आर आल्सो वेरी केयरफुली ऑब्जर्व्ड. तो कास्ट एंडोगेमी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर दीज फैमिलीज बिकॉज दे हैव टू मेंटेन द प्योरिटी ऑफ देयर लीनिएज. और जो घर के बड़े कहेंगे वही करना है. So when the youngsters, they start questioning that what's the rationale behind this, even the law also allows us intercaste marriages, then why can't we? होता है ना कभी कभी the modern value system which is up, or let us say the rules for the girl child and the boy child are different in the family. Maybe the girls are not allowed to pursue higher education, so the young generation starts questioning these things. These creates the ground for disintegration of joint family because there is emergence of modern value system. Is that clear? It can also be due to legal reforms. Such as Minimum Wage Act, or let us say amendment in Hindu Succession Act, etc., reduces the financial dependence on family. यहाँ पर एक ऐसे ही पॉइंट ऐड कर देती हूँ. अब सपोज करो जॉइंट फैमिली है, बहुत ही पेट्रियार्कल है, रिजिड फैमिली है. द गर्ल्स आर नॉट अलाउड टू परस्यू एजुकेशन. बहुत ही यंगर द गर्ल एंड शी वांट्स टू हैव हर ओन स्टार्टअप. शी हैज लॉट ऑफ प्लान्स एंड एवरीथिंग, बट द फैमिली इज नॉट अलाउइंग कि हम तुमको इतना पैसा स्टार्टअप के लिए देंगे, उतने में तो शादी हो जाएगी. सो वी आर नॉट अलाउइंग यू. Now, post the amendment of Hindu Succession Act in 2005, now the daughters have equal right as a co-parcenor. Matlab, do we have a brief idea about Mitakshara, Dayabag, the Hindu Succession Act, what it said before, what it said after? या मैं एक लाइन बता दूं एक बार. Okay. देखो, property को लेकर there were two school of thoughts. One was Mitakshara, other was Dayabag. Mitakshara was prevalent in most of India. Dayabag was mostly in Assam, Bengal. Mitakshara said the son in the family by birth has the right in the ancestral property, and father cannot take any decision which is detrimental to the interest of the son. But Dayabag said that all through the life, the father will have the ownership. And it is the discretion of the father whether they want to give the property rights to the son or they want to alienate the son. So till the time father is alive, the right in the property is with the father. So the son does not have the right from birth. But in Mitakshara, the son has birthright over the ancestral property. यहाँ पे daughter है ही नहीं, son ही है, दोनों ही, ठीक है. फिर we got independence, the laws were made. So Hindu Succession Act was made, and what we followed was Mitakshara school of thought. So according to Hindu Succession Act, prior to 2005, because it was 2005 when it was amended. So prior to that, we followed Mitakshara. That means son by birth has the right in the ancestral property. Let us suppose this is a family. They have two sons and one daughter. The son, during the lifetime of the father, father is alive. Son is saying that since I have the birthright in the ancestral property, I am demanding partition. Father के रहते रहते भी बेटा चाहे तो partition demand कर सकता है. And the girl is not the equal co-parcenor in that property of the ancestors. Is that clear? हाँ, ये हो सकता है that as a legal heir, the girl has been given some property, but she cannot demand partition, and secondly, she doesn't have the equal rights. For 2005 में the amendment happened. Now daughters have the equal share, and they are not only having the equal share, they are the co-parceners. तो अब क्या हुआ कि इस लड़की को स्टार्टअप करना था. परिवार ने कहा नहीं जी हम तो शादी करवाएंगे, स्टार्टअप नहीं कराएंगे. उसने कहा पार्टीशन कर दो. 2005 we have the right. That is why Flavia Agnes has said, a legal scholar, has said this was the most landmark judgment which has ever happened, because it was meant to correct the historical gender imbalance or the treatment, discriminatory treatment given to the daughters with respect to the property rights. तो फिर एक और क्वेश्चन आया कि व्हाट इफ एट द टाइम ऑफ अमेंडमेंट, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ प्रोस्पेक्टिव लॉ लगते हैं, रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव नहीं लगते, तो लोगों ने पूछा व्हाट इफ एट द टाइम ऑफ अमेंडमेंट फादर वाज नॉट अलाइव और पार्टीशन पहले ही. तो उस पे बोला गया इन 2020 सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट था विनीता शर्मा वर्सेस राकेश शर्मा केस में, irrespective father was alive during the time of amendment or not, the daughter will be the equal co-parcenor in the family property. Is it making sense for everyone? But has it led to women empowerment? Of course not. So did you get the point that how these laws has also reduced the financial dependence of the women on the family members? That has also created grounds for disintegration. Is that very clear? ठीक है. एक लक्ष्मी नारायणा ने पर्सपेक्टिव दिया था, दैट वाज विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू लैंड रिफॉर्म्स. It was a perspective by Lakshmi Narayan. It said to evade land ceiling laws, partition took place on paper. However, this theoretical partition, it sowed the seed for actual partition. Clear है? Are we clear with the factors which are responsible for disintegration of joint family? Clear hai? However, it is just one-sided accentuation of reality. The reality, other side of the coin, is that even today, joint families are getting reintegrated. So if I have to say, in fact, a question ban sakta hai, is nuclear family the contemporary reality of Indian society? No. It's a partial yes. And we'll study today. Is that very clear? ठीक है. तो ये इसीलिए हमने वो लाइन बोली थी कि डेवलपमेंटल फेज में यही कहा जा रहा है कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि न्यूक्लियर कंप्लीट हो गए या जॉइंट हो गए हैं. भाई ये तो फेजेस हैं. आज न्यूक्लियर है, कल जॉइंट होंगे, फिर जॉइंट से फिर न्यूक्लियर होंगे. ये तो चलता ही रहेगा. So that is how it has to be seen. So child rearing in dual career family due to some reason. अभी हमने पढ़ा industrialization, urbanization. So that was one of the reason the children were moving out. And this, when they moved out, obviously when they started their own family, they realized that they need someone to take care of their children. Because in dual career family, both husband and wife are working. You can't leave your child at the mercy of the caretakers or the caregivers. You need some family member to ensure their safety, security, and proper socialization. So you asked your parents to live with you, at least for a few years, so that, the child can be taken care. And in fact, the grandparents will also get more time to spend with their grandchildren. So child rearing in dual career family. Is it clear? Similarly, chain migration, high cost of living. One of the reason why breakdown of joint family happens is migration. Let us suppose the son, this was one family, they had 2-3 sons. One of the son, he migrated because of some reason, higher education, job, whatever it was. And then finally decide to settle there, get married and settle. So now when it was the turn for the second brother or the third brother to move out, that brother would prefer the location where the elder brother is already living. Because then that place would not be totally alienated for you. Let us suppose you have 2 choices, कि Bangalore जाना है या गुड़गांव जाना है. अब भाई ऑलरेडी गुड़गांव में रह रहा है, भाई का अपना घर है, तो इट वुड बी इजी फॉर द यंगर ब्रदर, इवन फैमिली भी कहेगी यार बैंगलोर कहाँ जा रहे हो इतनी दूर, और हो यूपी के, तो इट इज एनी डे बेटर कि गुड़गांव में आकर सेटल हो रादर देन गोइंग ऑल द वे टू बैंगलोर. सो दैट इज नथिंग बट चेन माइग्रेशन, कि अगर परिवार से कोई एक आता है तो पीछे पीछे बाकी परिवार वाले भी उसी जगह आते हैं. इज दैट वेरी क्लियर? सो दैट इज चेन माइग्रेशन. लेट अस सपोज चेन माइग्रेशन हुआ, सो यू आर नाउ थिंकिंग टू लिव इन 2 सेपरेट हाउसहोल्ड्स. गुड़गांव में रेंटल देखा है कितना है, तो अगर 2 डिफरेंट घर में रहेंगे तो फिर खर्चा कैसे निकलेगा? तो फिर सोचा गया कि इट्स बेटर कि 2 BHK लें, उससे अच्छा नहीं है कि एक 3 BHK किराए पे ले लिया जाए. So that is nothing but financial prudence, secures the economy of expenditure. So chain migration along with high cost of living, it further leads to reintegration of joint family. Is it clear for everyone? Feeling of nativism. Love for the land. स्वदेश मूवी, बाहर गए, सेट हो गए, पढ़ लिया, फिर एक दिन एनलाइटनमेंट हुआ कि नहीं अब वापस घर जाना है, जिस गांव ने हमें बनाया है अब उसके लिए कुछ करना है. सो अगेन री इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ द जॉइंट फैमिली. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? चेंजिंग नेचर ऑफ वर्क. This especially happened during the time of COVID. Emerging work from home culture. अब उन्हें भी, I think companies have realized work from home में efficiency is getting impacted. So now they have asked people to come back. कि बहुत हुआ. Come back and start operating from the office only. And now people are ready to leave the job. क्योंकि इतनी आदत पड़ गई है वर्क फ्रॉम होम करने की दैट दे आर फाइंडिंग इट चैलेंजिंग टू गेट अप इन द मॉर्निंग, गेट ड्रेस्ड, गो टू द ऑफिस एंड एवरीथिंग. सो अब उन्होंने एक नया सिस्टम स्टार्ट करा है, अभी का नहीं है, इट हैज ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड पोस्ट कोविड, कि एटलीस्ट 2 दिन ऑफिस आओ, शक्ल तो दिखानी. ऐसा ना हो ना कि बैंगलोर में जॉब कर रहे हो और बैठे मुरादाबाद में हो, तो अब हर हफ्ते 2 दिन के लिए तो आओगे नहीं, इतनी तो कमाई नहीं है, तो रहना तो फिर वहीं पड़ेगा. तो ऑफिस वाले भी स्मार्ट हो गए कि रोज मत आओ बट 2 दिन तो आना पड़ेगा. So this is how it is operating. But work from home culture has definitely led to reintegration of joint family. Industrialization. इसमें एक लाइन लिखो. Industrialization provides the economic basis. Industrialization provides the economic basis for sustenance of a joint family. For sustenance of a joint family. For example, according to Milton Singer, industrialist families in Madras stay in joint setup to share business risk and maintain control. To share business risk and maintain control. Next, इसी में, according to MS Gore's study of Agarwal families in Delhi found that affluent business families prefer joint living for economic and cultural continuity. For economic and cultural continuity. एक पॉइंट और लिखो. According to Srinivas, M.N. Srinivas, according to Srinivas, rather than getting disintegrated, joint family has adapted itself to suit the modern business enterprise. To suit the modern business enterprise. क्लियर है? ठीक है. एक लास्ट पॉइंट लिखेंगे, वही आईपी देसाई वाला पॉइंट. राइट डाउन. Functional jointness despite structural separation. In fact, IP Desai calls this kind of arrangement as integrated joint family or functional joint family. ये word लिखो फिर समझाती हूँ. IP Desai calls such family as integrated joint family or functional joint family ब्रैकेट में लिखना. फंक्शनल जॉइंट फैमिली ब्रैकेट में structurally nuclear but functionally joint. Structurally nuclear but functionally joint. अब यही हुआ, structurally nuclear, ये एक पूरी फैमिली थी. Now people move to different parts. One of the child, let us say they have 4 or 5 sons. One son moved to abroad. There was another son who went to some other place, let us say Surat, for textile business. One son went to Bangalore for some job, another stayed, let us say, in Noida or Gurgaon. So this is how every son moved to different parts. So now it was felt that, see, the joint family has disintegrated. But whenever there was any celebration of festival, let us say Diwali, no matter which place you were, even let us say you were abroad, it was a point that every year on Diwali, you will come back to the place where your ancestral home is there, so that everyone can stay together. Let us say you had sisters in that family as well. So it was decided that come what may, since everyone is coming for Diwali, we'll make sure that Bhai Dooj is celebrated together. Because the brother who's living abroad, it's not possible to come every time. So maybe he's not able to come during Raksha Bandhan. But one thing was clear, that Diwali ke baad jab Bhai Dooj, at least that, the tika has to be done. So that has to be done in ancestral home. Because see, 5 brothers, let us say, living at different places, it would be so difficult for the sisters to go to every place and perform this or celebrate the festival. It is so convenient, and it would be culturally so integrating that this is the ancestral home. Everyone is coming back, celebrating all the festivals. Let us say there is a marriage in the family. Or let us say, unfortunately, there is some death in the family. Or let us say you have to perform Shraddh. So everyone decided, no matter what, whenever there would be a Shraddh, everyone will come together. So then there was a confusion among the sociologists कि ये क्या चल रहा है, कि structurally तो ये joint रहे नहीं, they have become nuclear, but वो जो एक element of jointness था, cooperation and sentiments of jointness, जो ritual bonds थे, it is still being performed. So then a new term was coined, that was integrated joint family or functional joint family, which is structurally nuclear, but functionally it is joint. And it was this point at which A.M. Shah has introduced the concept of households. Undo. So the concept of households was introduced by A.M. Shah. Household is characterized by only two things: common residence, and second is common kitchen. No other factor. Household में बस दो चीजें आती हैं, common residence and common kitchen. So then they arrived at a conclusion that maybe it is the joint household which is getting disintegrated, not joint family. Is it making sense for everyone? ये सब मैं पढ़ाऊंगी next class में. But आज के लिए ये beginning of household तो बस इतना समझ आया ना कि household introduced by A.M. Shah had only two aspects to it: common residence and common kitchen. Write down certain points. Perspectives लिखो. According to S.C. Dubey, jointness can be emotional, economic, and political. So, there is disintegration of joint household. So, there is disintegration of joint household, but not joint family. Write down another perspective, Eugene Litwack. According to Eugene Litwack, nuclear and joint families are two theoretical ideals, and in between there exist modified extended families, इसको underline करना, modified extended families in which children marry out, or migrate from the parental household upon marriage, but engage in common activities with kin group. तो वही है, हर इंसान वही सेम बात कह रहा है कि structurally you are becoming nuclear but functionally you are joint. Is it making sense for everyone? ठीक है. So on this note we'll conclude today's lecture. Next class the deal would be, I'll do the remaining part. I'll take almost like half an hour or 40 minutes to finish this family. I'll start with marriage. Marriage में जो static portion है, वो नहीं होता, different types of marriages हो गया वो, that I will give you the write-up because some of it I have discussed today. The most important question with respect to marriage is change in the institution of marriage, which I will discuss. We'll study household dimension and I'll start with lineage and descent. Is that clear? There are few questions. पूजा, हम थोड़ा आगे भाग रहे हैं. हम ये सवाल अभी क्यों पूछ रहे हैं? Can digital platforms help preserve cultural traditions and values within joint families? If yes, then how? Obviously, digital platforms can help you. Would you consider जो WhatsApp हो गया, will that be a digital platform? Insta, will that be a digital platform? So yes, it helps us to preserve. YouTube, it helps in preserving cultural traditions. There are so many things we don't know about our culture, but because of various videos, various content which is available on YouTube, nowadays the youth is becoming more aware about their cultural tradition. Same holds true for your WhatsApp group and everything. जैसे बहुत बार क्या होता है, आप कल्चरल ट्रेडिशन कैसे मेंटेन करते हो? जैसे सपोज करो ट्रेडिशन है कि, मैं एक छोटी सी बात बताती हूँ, पता नहीं मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बता रही हूँ, सिंस शी हैज आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन। हमारे यहाँ एक ट्रेडिशन है, we were joint family, but then everybody for their respective work, my father and his brothers, they got separated. Until the time my grandparents were alive, there was a tradition very diligently followed, that whatever festival it is, everyone is going to call each other. The younger siblings, they have to call the older siblings, आशीर्वाद लेना, सब कुछ. फिर जब वो नहीं थे, तब तो टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई. टेक्नोलॉजी के बाद क्या हो गया, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड वीडियो कॉल्स. और वीडियो कॉल्स पे भी क्या होता है, आप सबको कनेक्ट कर लेते हो. सो थ्रू दैट, द फैमिली, दे हैव मेड इट अ पॉइंट, वेदर इट इज अ दिवाली, वेदर इट इज होली, एटलीस्ट मेजर फेस्टिवल्स, और लेट अस से ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स का आपको श्राद्ध वगैरह, तो उसमें फिर दे मेक इट अ पॉइंट दैट दे हैव टू गो टू द एंसेस्ट्रल होम. जैसे आई लिव इन कानपुर बट वी बिलोंग फ्रॉम शिकोहाबाद. सो नो मैटर कुछ भी हो जाए, जब भी श्राद्ध होता है दादाजी का या everyone makes it a point that they go there and perform. And how are you? Digital platforms, as in social media. Social media, WhatsApp, it helps you to remain connected with each other. To be very honest, मुझे शायद नाम भी नहीं पता होते जो मेरे cousins के बच्चे भी अब हो गए हैं और बड़े बड़े हो गए, और शायद अब और 2-4 साल में उनकी शादी भी हो जाए. कैसे कोई WhatsApp group helps you to maintain that cultural कंटिन्यूटी. जैसे कोई कुछ अचीव करता है तो आपको याद आता है, अरे, फिर आप पूछते हो, भैया क्या तो था, अच्छा ये ना, हाँ कंग्रेचुलेशंस, फिर आप ढूंढते हो कि अच्छा नाम भी है ये, चलो सही है, सब कुछ याद है अभी भी, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे फैमिली बड़ी होती जाती है उतना नहीं याद. बट व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स हेल्प्स यू टू मेंटेन दैट कल्चरल कंटिन्यूटी इन अ जॉइंट फैमिली. सो येस, डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स डज प्ले अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल in preserving cultural traditions and values within the joint family. But again, this is just one-sided accentuation. There is a flip side to it also. It is the same digital platform which has led to secularization, which has led to individualization, and because of which the family values are getting degraded. So आपको दोनों points लिख सकते हो, ठीक है. बट अभी हम क्यों बात कर रहे हैं, हम तो ये पढ़ ही नहीं रहे हैं अभी, हम आगे आगे भाग रहे हैं, ठीक है. I'll just make a request. हम ना वो questions पूछते हैं जो टॉपिक, मतलब क्योंकि ना ये चीजें हमें नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में पढ़नी है, तो हम ये बातें क्यों कर रहे हैं अभी. देखो, मैरिज तो बेटा पूजा अभी मैंने पढ़ाया ही नहीं है यार. 3 एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ मैरिज आप पूछ रहे हो ना, मैरिज, डिजिटल एज और फ्रीडम, ठीक है. इसको कैसे कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, जब हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में पढ़ेंगे ना, द फैक्टर्स विच आर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग टू चेंजिंग द इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ मैरिज, देन वी विल डिस्कस दैट, ठीक है. अच्छा, व्हाट आर द रोल ऑफ एनजीओज इन ब्रिजिंग द गैप ऑफ ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स एंड गवर्नमेंट स्कीम, दे प्ले. अच्छा, आपको शायद याद होगा, मैंने किसी क्लास में आपको वो पॉइंट्स लिखवाए थे, दैट इट प्रोवाइड्स द प्लेटफॉर्म for voicing the concerns of the stakeholders. It acts as a buffer between, देखो ये एक स्टैंडर्ड रोल होता है सोशल मीडिया का, प्रेशर ग्रुप का, सिविल सोसाइटी का, एनजीओज का, कि वो एज अ बफर एक्ट करते हैं, वो लेजिटिमेसी प्रोवाइड. अब ट्राइबल्स को सोचो, लेट अस सपोज गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स पे ट्रस्ट नहीं है, तो यहाँ पे एनजीओज क्या रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं, दे कैन एक्चुअली हेल्प इन बिल्डिंग द लेजिटिमेसी और द क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इन द आईज ऑफ द tribals. But at the same time, they can actually draw the attention of the government on those issues of tribals which government has overlooked. It can also act as a platform where tribals, or through which the tribals can voice their concerns. Also, NGOs can help in economic empowerment by providing them direct connect with the consumer market. नहीं तो middlemen जो होते हैं, they always usurp all the benefits and tribals are not left with anything. So these are the things, चाहे voicing the concerns of the stakeholders हो, चाहे acting as a buffer हो, providing the legitimacy हो. In fact, NGOs ना policy inputs भी provide करा सकते हैं government को, कि क्योंकि वन साइज फिट ऑल अप्रोच वर्क नहीं करती, टेलर्ड अप्रोच चाहिए. और अगर एनजीओ ने उस ट्राइबल एरिया में काम किया है, तो NGOs can give a feedback, policy inputs to the government that in this particular region what kind of schemes are required and in what ways they need to be implemented. तो ये तो 5-6 कॉमन पॉइंट्स है. शोल्टे का पर्सपेक्टिव है, रोल ऑफ सिविल सोसाइटी इन डेमोक्रेसी. अगर पेपर 1 में हम सिविल सोसाइटी पढ़ते हैं, रोल ऑफ सिविल सोसाइटी इन डेमोक्रेसी, शोल्टे ने ये पॉइंट्स दिए हैं, ये आप कहीं पे भी अप्लाई कर लो. पहला है वॉइस टू द स्टेक होल्डर्स, दूसरा है ड्रॉइंग द अटेंशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑन द ओवरलुक्ड इशू, तीसरा है पॉलिसी इनपुट्स, चौथा है एक्टिंग एज अ बफर, पांचवा है लेजिटिमेसी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. सो दीज पॉइंट्स शोल्टे हैज गिवन विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू पॉजिटिव रोल ऑफ सिविल सोसाइटी इन डेमोक्रेसी. इसको यूज कर लो. I hope I have answered, Pooja. ठीक है? So can we disperse for the day?